Guru Purnima. How do you pay homage to a long line of gurus, enlightened souls, who have taken us, generations of Indians, from mediocrity to excellence, from boredom and depression to exhilaration, from a coercive, debilitating lifestyle to one that is illuminating and empowering. India's golden age was not only one of material prosperity, where they say the streets were lined with gold, but one of immense happiness and peace. And even today, India is viewed as, or at least the people of India are viewed as, a peace-loving race. And most importantly, these enlightened souls showed us the way out of the prison of this world to freedom, to moksha. And their ingenuity was that not only did they cater to the ardent seeker after liberation, who went to the Himalayan valleys in search of an illumined soul for Brahma Vidya, but they catered to ordinary people like you and me and showed us how to celebrate the experience of that state in ordinary, everyday experiences of life. And therefore, the topic for today is work is worship. When you think of work, most of us across the world think only of the paycheck. You ask anyone, what are you working for? They will say, I'm working to make a living, for the paycheck. A few work for power, prestige, position, so on and so forth. But all of this together makes for drudgery. And that is why, in the beginning of the year when the calendar comes out, everyone zeroes in on long weekends so that you can take off from work and do something that is interesting, because you find work boring. The world over, people are working for Friday evenings. In fact, in the West, Friday afternoon itself, people take off. So it's become a 4.5-day week. And by the time Sunday evening comes, you suffer from what they call as the Monday blues. Worship, on the other hand, is prayer, visit to a temple, church or mosque, perhaps go on a pilgrimage. All of this means getting away from work. You're not at the workplace. The question that arises is it possible, is it practical to take time off from work often enough to really make a difference to our spiritual status? Because spirituality is not to be pursued part-time, once a week or once a year. It is something that you need to do all the time. Throughout the Gita, throughout the Upanishads, they use the word satatam, sada, always, consistently. So, how can you worship consistently when you have your work to do? And the work also is full-time. So the question that arises in our minds is it possible to bring the two together? In fact, it is only when you combine work with worship, only when you act with a worshipful attitude, when you infuse your activities with the thought of the divine, that life becomes enriching. It becomes fulfilling. You are happy. and you grow both spiritually and materially. So therefore, particularly the Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna was a man of action, he was a warrior, and he was faced with one of the most difficult challenges before him, and he finds that he is not up to the mark. He crumbles, gives up, and tells Krishna, let's go away and meditate in the Himalayas. It is Krishna who tells him how to divinize his work, how to work with a worshipful attitude, how to make your work itself worship. So let's take a look at our action. Is your action profit driven? Are you doing it for profit, or is it not for profit? This doesn't mean that you should not make a profit. The point is, where is your focus? Is your focus on profit, or is your focus on something beyond profit? Are you driven by a desire for personal returns, or are you committed to perform your obligatory duties? Throughout the Indian culture, we are exhorted to just fulfill our obligations in life, not look at desire. In the third chapter of the Gita, where he speaks of karma yoga, he says, Niyatam kuru karmatva. Perform your niyatam karma, means obligatory duty. Depending on this, if your action is for profit and desire driven, you will experience drudgery and boredom at work. Whereas, if you're performing obligatory duties, you are in ecstasy. Desire for personal profit and pleasure always invariably ends up in stress. And that is why you come back home tired after a full day's work. It's not the physical activity that makes you tired. What makes you tired is the mental stress. Whereas real work should give you peace. When Swami Ramatirtha was lecturing in America more than 100 years ago, one of the Americans got up and asked, "What is your definition of rest?" And promptly he replied, Ramatirtha was known for his prompt replies, answers. He said, "Intense work is rest." What a statement. If you take up this statement and say, let me find out how I can find peace in intense work. Most of us find peace in getting away from work. Intense work is rest. Is your action resulting, boomeranging back on you as more desires implanted in your personality? Does your action pollute you further? Or does it purify you? Karma yoga is all about working in such a way that that action purifies you. And we'll shortly see how one can do that. And most importantly, does your action enchain you? Does it bind you further to the world and to the activity? Or does it unchain you? Does it liberate you from your worldly activities, preoccupations? Vedanta says the purpose of work, your mission in life, is twofold. Atmanaha mokshartham. You should work for self-development, for self-upliftment, for spiritual growth, and Jagat Hitaya, for the welfare of the world. There is no other reason for you to act. And you look around you, you'll find people are acting for everything except their self-unfoldment or the welfare of the world. And that is why people are stressed out, people are depressed. If you read the papers the other day, it speaks of the rate of depression in India is alarmingly high, they say. Why is this? Because we have lost touch with our own culture. We have lost touch with this knowledge of Vedanta that infuses a sense of cheer, exhilaration, a sense of purpose. The world over, people are getting bored in life. The other day, someone sent me an SMS. What do you do when you find your job boring? Do you change your job? Do you change your vocation? What do you do? The answer to that is, boredom is not in your workplace. It is not the job that is boring. It is your attitude towards your work that is boring. That being so, you may change your jobs 10 times. You will never find excitement. But change your attitude towards your work, and at the same workplace, the same job specifications, you will suddenly find your job exciting, exhilarating, invigorating.